this is a difficult thing to talk about, but Islam, to what extent is this just made so much more complicated by Islam? A lot of people don't want to name that as a big part. I mean, it's a problem anyway, immigration, especially undocumented, or you don't know who they are and those kinds of things. But Islam, I was asked recently by human rights lawyer Clive Stafford Smith, who's very sort of globalist-y kind of guy, and he said, how has your life changed because of Islam? How's your culture changed? What do you think about that?
Well, if you look at inward migration, particularly illegal migration, a large portion of the illegal arrivals are coming from Islamic countries, Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, and some of these people will be Islamists. Some of these people will be extremists. They will hold values which are totally at odds with British values. I use the term a lot, even though I'm not quite sure what it means sometimes. But they will have horrendous views towards women, for example, because of their culture and their origins.
Yeah.
And
Jews,
again,
gays.
Towards Jews, exactly. They will be anti-Semitic, and for that will be normal. Homosexuals, they will think that being gay is a sin. They will have very extreme, dangerous views, and they will be in our country, and they'll be, as a result of that, behaving in a totally unacceptable way. The grooming gang scandal is a consequence of, men having wholly dangerous views towards women, because the large majority of the perpetrators of grooming gangs are Pakistani men. Pakistani Muslim men, especially in places like Rochdale, in Rotherham, in Oldham, Bradford. I visited.
Emily Maitlis would call you a racist, I think, for pointing this out.
I think she's probably been calling me a racist for the last 10 years. So,
and you are of a different race, so that winds me up so much for like white people to be having a go. Are your family, what do they have? What kind of culture is there? Is there a Hindu thing, or is it a thing?
So my mum is from Mauritius.
Yeah.
And my dad is from Kenya.
Yeah.
And my mum was, they are very proud children of empire. They were born in the 1940s. And just as Britain was winning the war, in fact, my granny's sister fought for the British Army. There were Mauritian soldiers posted in Egypt. So a source of great pride in our family on my mother's side. And my mother's both my parents have been very grateful to the British Empire for what Britain did for their countries. Mauritius was developed because of the British. Roads were built, ports were built, the civil service, their administration, their legal system. That was all thanks to the British, the British colonizers. Same with Kenya. Kenya was developed largely because of British investment, British construction, British engineering, British administration. And so they saw the real benefits of empire. They were very grateful to Britain. It was a mother country for them. And then when my mother was 18, she was recruited by the NHS, and she got a job. And she trained as a nurse in Scotland, and she worked as a nurse for 40 years in the UK. My father, he came to the UK for different reasons. He was in Kenya, and in the 60s, the Kenyan Asians were basically booted out of East Africa. It happened in Uganda, happened in Tanzania, happened in Kenya. Not as violent as some of the other countries in Kenya, but nonetheless, as a young Asian man growing up in Kenya in the 1960s, he had no prospects, no opportunities. The laws were set against someone of his ethnicity. And so the British offered him a way out and a lifeline. They gave him a British passport and they said, come to Britain. And so he found security and opportunity in Britain as a young man. And then my parents met in the UK. And they've lived their lives very humbly, with a great sense of gratitude, I think, overwhelmingly, for what Britain has given them. Britain's given them a sanctuary, and they've only wanted to repay the debt, really, that Britain has given them. So my mother got involved in the local community. She joined the Conservative Party because of Mrs. Thatcher in the early 80s, and she was a councillor for 16 years, and my father's always been a supporter of hers and local politics. So they're very community-spirited people, and, They get their flags out when it's a jubilee or a coronation. Very, very proud to be British, very grateful. Overwhelmingly, it's gratitude.
It must wind you up then, a lot of the immigration with people coming in and not being that way at all. And I get told as a Jew that people know I'm Jewish and all that, and they'll tell me, oh, the right wing hates you or what. It's like that. That's not my experience at all. And the idea that we're being against immigration, that I or anyone who espouses my opinions might not like people with brown skin or black skin or something, it's mental. It's so far from reality. But I've spoken about this before. The litmus test is the dog, because I walk around with my dog. I've got a little dachshund, and she's really cute, little cream thing, and everyone loves her. She's like
What's her name?
Gnocchi.
Gnocchi.
Yeah,
like the dish.
Yeah, she looked like, and it's my fat wife is Argentinian, so they got like gnocchi.
Oh, I
like
see.
a big dish over there.
Right.
And so I walk around with her, and it's just life now that there's lots of brown-skinned people, right? Particularly in certain areas around where we all live in sort of this area, and so half of the brown-skinned people come over and are just like, they adore her, and they're like, oh, I'm going to take her back to our, they seem British, they're like proper, they're funny, and like it's lovely, and there's nothing going like, boo, different skin color. But then the other half like spit and get angry and dive out the way, and loads of dog walkers are having these experiences because in Islam they don't like dogs.
Right.
So I guess the point I'm making is, I love my dog. No, the point I'm making here is it must be so upsetting for so many people who are of Asian background who just wanted to like get their heads down, like your parents, like you, and just get on with your life and be British. And now it is going to turn some people on the right against you or against me for being Jewish. We're all sitting there going, guys, what are you doing coming in here trying to change this culture?